Hello, Charles Van Morgan, running for Knoxville City Council, District 1, Fort Sanders and South Knoxville area. So we have passed out close to 100 flyers again today, so I'm a little bit tired and sweaty. Today I want to talk about what I told you I was going to on the last video about what you can do to get around sovereign immunity later on in the video, what we're supposed to do, and where we hold the government accountable. And I'm also going to talk about, as I have been recently, about what citizens are telling me when I ask them if they have any concerns about the city of Knoxville in this area, good or bad. And what that does is, when we win, we'll be able to correct it. If we don't win, at least it's putting it out to some of the other candidates so that they can try to work on some of these issues if they want to. We'll give it to them free because it's important to facilitate the mission, regardless of who's in office, of making Knoxville better for the people. Power to you, the people, not the politicians. So we'll give them this free. Today we heard again about the homeless issue. A man told me that he's got a friend that also lives in this area in South Knoxville, and he finds syringes and needles all around his house. So he's talking about the homeless problem. And they have been working on that for years and years. You can go back and look at videotapes from previous city council races for years, and they've been allegedly working on that, but nothing ever substantially gets done. It's just like I told him, if Mayor Kincannon or one of her friends that's running on the city council lived around that homeless problem, they would do something about it. But they don't live in that area, and so they don't care, quite frankly. They buy your vote and they don't do anything about it. They've been talking about that problem for years, alleging that they're doing something about it, and they're not doing anything about it. They're spending your money on frivolous things that do not matter to Knoxvillians. One of the things they can do about it is try to lower the property tax, which would make the cost of housing come down. Another thing they can do about it is start putting regulations and start taxing these corporations that are buying out Knoxville houses and charging an enormous amount of rent to where people can't afford housing in Knoxville. People are going to be priced out. So, and they haven't done any of that substantially. They're not really working on the housing problem. If they were really working on it, they would have done something about it, and they have not. I am a man of action. I will make efforts to lower the cost of living in Knoxville, lower the housing cost, and try to lower the taxes by voting against some of this stuff, speaking out. And this is a start, showing electability. We'll get in the city council and we'll move for higher office with more power for you, to give you more of a say in your government. So this is a start. We ran for the highest office, covered a lot of ground, got a lot of votes, and now we're running for the city council, where a lot of decisions are made against you. So another issue I heard, very important, is about a lady said that the bus line stops on the other side of Chapman Highway, and her son, who is 12 years old, has to walk across Chapman Highway every day because the line to where they would take him further is right on the other side of Chapman Highway. And instead of strict boundaries, we need to be concerned about children's safety and welfare and move the boundary over where it's applicable, at least on the other side of highways where they don't get endangered. I have 3 children and I've been through that. They're all grown now, but I'm worried about my kids getting run over by cars. So that's something that we could take care of immediately. Move the boundary line on the other side of Chapman Highway for the bus lines. Not very hard to take care of for the safety, health, protection of children that I think that most people are for. And those two issues are what I heard today, I keep hearing about infrastructure, about making the roads bigger and fixing the potholes. So we'll talk more about that later, but let's talk about the sovereign immunity issue that I told you previously I was going to talk about. Government and the city of Knoxville is immune from most civil suits because of sovereign immunity. Came from the ideal in England that people came to the United States that the king cannot be sued. The king does no wrong. And that still applies in a lot of government functions, especially elected officials where they have discretionary functions. After you elect them and they make decisions against you, you can't sue them. They already have power. So duty breach causation damages doesn't apply. And duty breach causation damages is what you can file a civil suit for someone for. Duty is the first element of a civil tort. You have to have a duty. If you have no duty, then that's an element that the person can't sue you. For example, if you're driving down the interstate, you're by yourself, and somebody's on the side of the interstate waving for you to pull over and stop. Looks like they got a flat tire, and you just keep on going because you don't want to stop it. Say it's dusk and you're afraid to. Can they sue you for driving by them? No, they can't sue you because you have no duty to stop to help the public at large. You don't. Now, they do have a duty to help the public at large, but they have sovereign immunity in government. So that's the first element. The second element is if you have a duty, say that was one of your children or your wife that was stranded on the side of the road. They may be able to sue you because you had a special relationship with them. Or say that you are the one that caused them to have a flat tire, then you caused that, so you would have a duty to remedy that. So a breach of the duty would be that if you did not stop and that was your wife or your child or something and you had a duty, they were under your roof, a special relationship, or you were the one that caused the injury, you'd have a duty to help them, and you breach that duty by continuing going. For the most part, you do not have a duty to the general public, and they can't sue you based on that. But if you do have a duty and you breach that duty, you don't do what a reasonable, prudent person would under similar circumstances, then you have breached that duty. This third element, which really you could combine duty and breach into one, the third element is causation. Duty, breach, causation. Now, there's two types of causation. There's legal cause, which is the actual cause, and then the second type is proximate cause. Now, the legal cause, which is actual cause, is did your failure to act as a reasonable, prudent person, was that what caused them the injury? Now, that is similar to, in the textbooks, it has, if you're on a boat and you're going down the river and you're supposed to follow the rules of boating, and you look over at some sunbathers and it causes you to violate the duty to stay in your lane, and you go over and cross into another boat because you're looking at nude sunbathers, and you hit another boat, you violated the law. Now, it is illegal for sunbathers in that area, say, so they did break the law, but is there breaking the law, that's the cause of your injury? It is the legal cause, but is it the proximate cause? Is it fair to hold someone liable for nude sunbathing to hold them liable for a boating wreck? And the answer to that is probably not. And that's proximate cause, is a fairness issue. Even though it is a legal cause, it's probably not proximate cause. The first element, the legal cause, is if you run a stop sign and you slam into another car, you breached a duty. You're supposed to obey traffic laws. You had a duty to do that. You breached it. You slammed into another car. But for you running that stop sign, you wouldn't have slammed into the other car. So you have duty, you have breach of duty, you have legal cause or proximate cause, and you have you have proximate cause. Is it fair to hold you liable for that? Yes, it is fair. There's a direct relationship between your breach of the duty and you slamming into their car. The last element is damages. The law provides no remedy for near misses. Say you ran the stop sign and you nearly missed the other car, but you didn't hit it. You nearly missed it. They can't sue you for damages because the law provides no remedy for near misses. So that is the elements of a tort, basically, in a nutshell. The city government, under sovereign immunity, you can't sue them for a tort for administrative decisions. They have sovereign immunity. So I said all that to say this: the way to hold them liable for their breach of duty, proximate cause, legal cause, and damages, it causes you damage, and we can't live in the city of Knoxville as high as prices are and their frivolous spending of money. You cannot sue them. What you can do is vote them out. That's the remedy. You're the judge, jury, and executioner. Go to the voting booth and mark Charles Van Morgan and exercise your remedy to hold the government accountable, not in a civil court, but at the voting booth. So, in closing, remember, God loves you, and I do too. Have a blessed day. Thank you.